Join us today on the Final Hour podcast as we discuss the end time church, today's modern church, and how the Bible says and is very clear that it will be victorious and go out on top when the rapture happens.
We interrupt your program to issue a severe warning for an impending emergency making its way to your area. We urge you to be watchmen of the times and to be prepared with the essential knowledge and supplies for the wake of the final hour.
Welcome to the Final Hour podcast, coming to you from the Original Living Word Christian Center out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's so great to have you guys. It's good to be here. Thank you for viewing. Thank you for listening. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It helps us.
It's really easy. You just click that subscribe button.
You do.
That's all.
Thanks, John.
Go for it.
But before we get going today,
No.
we have dates on the Israel trip. That is November 27th till December 7th, 2023.
That's like the Monday after Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Yep.
And I know that we didn't want those dates, but I can only tell you that the trip will be somewhere between $3,500 and $3,800, and that the only way we can get it that inexpensive is going after Thanksgiving. And plus, there's far less people there, far less tours. Everything's easier. So it's not a great time. I know we've got 56 people that have showed interest, and you see the sign up list on the website. And you're going to get first shot at this. If you decide, then you're on the list. If you're on that list right now, because as of right now, it's up to 50 people, right, that we can take. And obviously, all those 56 people, they just want information.
Yep.
Right. And so what you have to wait for, though, right, is what is it? What do we have to send them?
Oh, the registration link. We're waiting for the registration link from
our the company we're working with. Listen, so you don't have to write in and say, where's the link? We promise. The second we get the link, only you 56 are going to get it. All right?
Right, first.
All right? You're first.
You have a few.
And we haven't even announced this to the church. All right? So
can you just say really quick what the trip is?
Why are we taking a tour to Israel? We had that question. This, you're in the Golan Heights on the Syrian border. You're looking at history from the Yom Kippur War and the 67 War. You're going up that Israel won the Golan Heights. You're in Jerusalem. You're at the Garden Tomb. You're at Calvary. You're at the Upper Room. You're in the actual original Garden of Gethsemane. And you're at Hebron. Hebron is one of the oldest places. It's where David first ruled from. You can find Hebron all the way back in Judges. Okay.
Wow.
And it's a hotly contested area between the Palestinians and the Jews right now. You're on the Sea of Galilee. We have a service where Jesus rode the boat. You're in synagogues that have been unearthed that actually Jesus walked in, Jesus taught in. You're in the city of the old New Testament city of Capernaum. You're in you get baptized in the Jordan River. All right. So there's a lot of reasons for the tour. All right.
Yeah.
We have a hike going up Mount Arabel. You're at the Dead Sea. All right. While we're down at the Dead Sea, we go up to Masada. We hike up to Masada.
That's cool.
The hikes are optional, right?
Not for me.
And so
not for you.
I'm just throwing out a bunch of things why are we taking the tour? To see all those things.
Yeah.
Right?
That's cool.
And so
I've never been. I am so excited.
It brings the Bible alive.
It does. It really does.
When you actually realize, the Jews are incredible record keepers.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, you can say, this isn't the upper room. You know what? It very well might be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If it's not the upper room, I guarantee you it's very close to that vicinity.
Right there.
Just like the tomb.
Yeah.
That, and if you don't believe that's the tomb Jesus was in, and you take communion at the garden tomb, you see exactly what it looks like, what those tombs look like, because it's not what you think. All right. It's not going to be what you think. And so these are all these different reasons. At the wall, we go to the wall, one of the holiest places in the world. All right. We spend time at the wall. These are just the highlights, right? There's many other things that we did. Did I miss anything?
How's the food?
I love the food.
So it is good.
I love the food, and you. The great thing about Israel is you can eat. You can eat what you can get by. Not eating bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because their fruit is amazing.
Yeah. Right.
Their vegetables are amazing.
Yeah.
Obviously they do a lot of hummus, right?
Sounds great.
And
it is good.
I think we're in a hotel in the Dead Sea. We're in the hotel in the Galilee.
Cool.
Which is Tiberias. That's when we go up on the Golan Heights for a day, right? You get to see a battle site between the Jews and the Romans in the Golan Heights from 2,000 years ago. Besides the Syrian border and all that contested stuff up there, then we're in a hotel in Jerusalem. That's it, right? Galilee, Dead Sea, Jerusalem, right?
Yep.
3 different hotels.
So cool.
It's a 10-day trip, okay? So, and remember, you don't have to write in and ask for the link.
No, we'll send it to you.
The second we get it. Wait on the link, you 56, the famous 56. That's what we call them.
The famous 56.
Right. And so as we get started today, right, I know we just had to kind of get that out, right?
Yeah, that was
Take care of
good.
business.
So let's see. What do you guys want to do? No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know. I thought you were going to say what your name was right now. And I was like, oh okay. Well, it doesn't matter.
Well, what's your name?
Lonaiah.
What's your middle name?
Lee.
Lonaiah Lee?
Yep.
L-E-E?
Lonaiah Lee.
No. Sorry. Leigh.
Sorry.
John?
Yeah.
My name is John.
What's your middle name?
Danger.
My name is John.
Johnny Danger Gap.
Have you seen those?
No, do it.
Yeah.
It's
My
like a
name is
TikTok.
John.
No, it's like
No, that's
my
what
name is John. And then you like say something about yourself.
I'm pretty tall.
Yeah, like that.
I like to go to the mall.
Yeah, like that.
Roll call.
Wow.
Yeah, roll call. That's what it is. Roll call.
Yeah.
There's
So
some really funny ones on like Jesus and the disciples with the roll call thing.
let's
It's funny.
let's just hope we
My
didn't
name is
lose
Simon.
half our views in the
You can
last.
call me Peter.
Let's hope we didn't lose half our views in the last 50
No,
seconds.
they're rolling in right now.
Okay, all right. Let's go. This has put us in the algorithms. All right.
Roll call, Mike.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe we should do a TikTok roll call with the final hour. All
Yeah,
right.
that's what we'll do
Anyways.
for the
My
opening.
name is Jim.
And I am Slim. Okay. Okay.
I work out lots at the gym. Roll call.
See, that was entertaining. Sorry,
I'm sorry I had to
For
pronounce
you
it
and
like your
Lonaiah.
mom.
Okay.
I'm sorry I had to say it like your
You
mom.
did say it
would
like his mom
My name is Jim.
with an accent.
All right, Jim.
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 Okay. What we
Okay.
got, Lonaiah?
The news. The news. So there's a few topics that we are going to be discussing today. The first one is Biden's Energy Department. This is interesting. Has now admitted that COVID-19 was likely leaked from the Wuhan lab.
Yeah.
So before they were vehemently denying this.
Vehemently.
Whatever, John.
People lost their jobs
People lost-
for saying it was leaked from a lab.
Listen, I was on this person's Instagram site and I was flicking through. They had probably like 20 news sites, White House reporters that were saying conspiracy theorists, this is in 2020, are stating that COVID-19 was leaked from a Wuhan lab. That is false information. I was telling Jim, Jon Stewart,
Right.
he was on a talk show this week. I don't know which one.
Who's annoying?
Stephen Colbert.
Okay.
This is like actually 6 months ago.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
But he was, I saw the clip today and he was so mad that
Yeah.
this is what they're saying now, because he said he got
like-
canceled basically because he was saying
Yeah.
COVID-19 was created in a lab in Wuhan.
Yeah.
And
making fun of the fact of, there's a virology lab
Yes.
in Wuhan
Yes.
that studies bats and the virus, the SARS-CoV-2
yeah.
virus, and it was the virus was discovered like 5 miles from there, and he's
Right.
like, connect the dots.
Right. And there
But listen, let's finish. We didn't. Jon Stewart is a famous comedian.
Yes.
Okay. He had a night show.
yes.
All right. He's a big lefty.
Yeah.
All right.
Definitely.
And they canned him. All right,
Yeah.
because he
He got
said
canceled.
that the COVID virus came from Wuhan in China, a lab. All right. So I just we have to step all over this moment,
Right.
Yeah.
Because anyone that said it was from a lab, okay,
Right.
what did Jon Stewart say? Jon Stewart said, "You're only saying it's from a lab now because there's something bigger coming out.
Exactly.
There's something bigger coming out."
Yep.
If Anthony Fauci is saying it's from a lab too, right?
Well, he's saying Anthony Fauci's not really saying where it's from. He's still
Right.
skirting the issue.
Oh,
Well,
I thought you
because
told me.
He said he's
he's
saying,
under oath
I
in
think it might be,
Congress.
but if it did come out,
Yeah.
it was an accident. That's what he's saying.
Because he's under oath.
Yeah, 'cause
giving
Rand
Rand
Paul.
Paul, was grilling him.
Yeah, he
but,
was.
Fauci was under oath in Congress.
Yeah, he lied. He
Yeah.
later lied to Congress by saying that NIH never even funded the research,
Right.
which we know is a lie.
Right.
House Republicans have called upon Fauci to testify again as part of their investigation into the pandemic.
That's recent?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And so, interesting, when we started this podcast over a year ago, my dad said just no conspiracy theories.
Right.
But it's really annoying, right? Because technically
Yeah.
they call everything a conspiracy
Yeah.
theory. And it's so interesting because every single one of these conspiracy theories
Right.
are coming true.
Right.
Right.
Almost
Right.
every
It's
single
really
one.
annoying that
Yeah.
that suddenly they're saying, yes, it was from a lab, right?
Right.
Well, by the way, didn't Trump say it was from a lab the whole time?
Right
Yes,
away.
Absolutely.
The very first day.
Right.
The very first day.
It
But-
just makes me mad, But I'll tell you what, there's more coming. If they're admitting to this,
Yep.
You guys, there is.
if they're admitting to this, you guys, something
There's
big.
something big.
Remember the boomerang effect that
Yep.
we read? It was we read you a prophecy.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a boomerang effect. Everything's coming back.
Yep.
Okay, it's coming back. Right.
Right.
They can burn all the facilities and railroads, and they can do all this stuff they want.
Right.
It's coming back.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Right. So I looked into the Department of Energy just because I wanted to see what they're in charge of.
Yeah.
So they manage the United States nuclear infrastructure and administer the country's energy policies, and it says they also fund scientific research in the field. That's what these people do.
It's so interesting that the Department of Energy, is that what we're talking
Yeah.
about?
The Department of Energy.
Okay. Keep going. Yeah. It's wild. I mean, you talked about energy facilities.
Yeah, I'm gonna- yeah.
The East Palestine train derailment
I'll
is
skip
like
to that, John.
5 miles away from a nuclear.
Yes,
Plant?
I did see that.
Yeah.
Which is, I was listening to this podcaster last night.
Yeah.
Or not podcaster, Instagram guy, and he was explaining how the Department of Energy right now is shutting down like power plants.
Yeah.
And how I don't know if it was like 30 million or 60 million energy wattage or something they're taking away. And it will affect 30 million homes in the U.S.
Right.
So he says this affects 13 states. So there's going to be rolling blackouts through 13 states.
And I know we've said this since last summer,
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
but okay, but you'll see, all right, that because of the big green thing, right? And you know what's so hilarious is all these people they're going to be thinking they're doing the blackout for the
Right.
environment.
Right.
And they're going to be like, this is great. We're helping conserve energy.
What a scam.
What a scam.
Because
What a scam.
Yep.
Is anyone else besides me getting the weekly email
Yep.
from Excel?
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
please turn your
Yeah. It's
to help protect the environment.
Right.
I'm like turning my temperatures.
Turn everything. Turn all
Yeah.
electronics off and
they call
whatever.
it. Yeah.
It's an energy action day.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Anyone that knows, okay, any scientist that's not left, that's just in the middle will tell you there's more energy for this world than we need.
Right.
Okay. All right. So, wow. It's
interesting.
It's a
the way
big
Yeah.
scam.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know how to segue into this one because I don't want to say this is a scam. But
In other news,
in other news, the Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky says that he would like to meet with President Xi. Whatever. So China just came forward with a 12-point peace plan between Ukraine and Russia. And I don't know if you saw, but 2 days before they came out with this plan, Xi met with Putin in, about this. So they're saying it's kind of like an unbiased plan.
Yeah.
Okay, but anyways, so
I mean, we've been talking about how the U.S. has basically driven Russia into China's arms. Like,
of
I mean,
course.
they've been commie buddies for years and years and years, decades and decades. Obviously, they're kind of on that same communist plan.
Yeah.
For quite some time, but the U.S. has not helped our own case by basically making sure that they cement their partnership. And, I think even with all this COVID stuff, we're like, why would we trust anything China has to offer, especially when it comes to Russia and Ukraine and easing tensions there?
And I think that's what people are saying, what's happening here, because so China, I'll just give you two of the points. They were interesting.
And we're leading into something here. I know this isn't news that you haven't heard. You've probably heard about their peace plan, right? But we're going somewhere with this.
Yeah,
right?
So their first one was respect the sovereignty of all countries. It does not specify who has sovereignties over disputed regions. It just says respect sovereignty of all countries. Then it says resuming peace talks. Like I said, China and Russia met before this plan came.
2 days.
2 days.
2 days before.
And so everybody is kind of mad that Zelensky is even looking into with China because we have given him $100 billion.
Way more than 100 billion.
Well, that's what it's. I mean, that's all I read so far. So we are getting into some things, but the plan calls for respecting sovereignty, resuming peace talks, ceasing hostilities, post-conflict reconstruction. It also includes economic objectives like stopping unilateral sanctions, and I think it said it had something to do with like keeping shipping lines open. What's it called?
Supply lines
open.
Yep.
Okay. So Zelensky, Biden, and now the CIA are all concerned that China may be on the brink because of this plan, sending lethal aid to Russia. So the U.S. is trying to talk China down, threatening that its involvement would be a serious problem. This is what they're saying. So the Ukraine-Russian conflict has become a proxy war, with President Biden continually committing U.S. support to Ukraine through weaponry and hundreds of billions of dollars. So China likely sees geopolitical benefit in involving itself in America's proxy war, as it currently finds itself in a cold conflict with the U.S. and worried about potential conflicts regarding Taiwan.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you saw, but we are sending 100 to 200 troops to Taiwan this week to like ramp up.
Right.
And if you've been paying attention, there's a lot of things ramping up in Taiwan. But another thing that's interesting.
Well, because Taiwan is strategically important because 70-80% of all microchips are produced in Taiwan.
Yes. Remember when, what's her name? Nancy Pelosi. When
Nancy.
she went to Taiwan, it was like a big, huge deal. Okay, anyways. Yeah. But if you saw Zelensky this week, I think it was 3 days ago.
Yeah.
I think me and you were sending things back and forth to each other. He was being interviewed about the war, and he was saying, we have sent so many Ukrainian troops out. Right. Like the Ukrainian troops, I read this other blog that said the life expectancy of a frontline Ukrainian troop is like 4 to 6 hours. Jeez. These are what they're stating.
I don't believe that, though.
I don't.
No, and we'll get to that,
They'd be out
too.
of guys.
They would be out of guys. But he's now saying, America, you need to be ready to send your sons and daughters.
Right.
Because we need them in this war,
Zelensky said this.
Yes.
Send
them to us.
Die.
That we're going to send
them to die.
Send them to die for our country.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of not believing the facts, some people dying.
Right.
I think John sent me the TikTok about the news reporter.
Yeah.
You want to tell it?
The
one with the body bags?
Oh yeah. So there's an American news reporter reporting deaths from Ukraine on the field or in the field. And evidently not everybody got the signal that everything was over, because then people who were in body bags covered up
behind
that reporter
yes,
as the backdrop
start to get up
out of their body bags.
out of the body bag, starting to get up, and then all of a sudden some manager comes back and like lays them back down and covers them up again.
It's not funny, but
It's so funny. It's like it's again, what a sham.
Yes.
What a money grab with the Ukraine. I'm not saying the whole thing is fake.
No.
I'm just saying.
But it's got to make you wonder.
You have to wonder
not,
about the truth of the facts.
Don't write in Ukrainians, but rumors of war. And I saw a little ticker on the BBC ticker that said conspiracy theories of the Ukraine-Russia war actually happening. Like that it's not really a war.
Right.
And you know what? How many times have I said that to you?
Well, because
I'm not saying it's not happening.
Right.
It's just
but it
weird.
can at least be overblown.
It's really weird.
Yeah.
The whole thing is weird. Now we got people getting up out of body bags in reports,
Right. Live
irresponsible
on
news
the
reports.
live news.
And you have Zelensky, who's demanded money from America. And can I just ask, who gets to demand money? So like it makes me think, what is going on there that he demands money and we give it to him?
Right.
And now he's demanding our sons and daughters to come and fight for the death of Ukraine.
Or
I was going
lie.
to say something a little
lot of
tongue in cheek, but I won't do that. But I'm like, why does he get to demand so much? What does he have on us that we continually fill the pockets
he
of
has
his?
dirt on our president.
I think so too.
mean,
I have it, and another story that was a conspiracy theory that was debunked, and you can look into this, was Hunter Biden's laptop, which has ties.
It's not a conspiracy.
It's not
theory.
a conspiracy.
It's the
theory.
truth. Okay.
It was.
yeah,
They
this is
tried
the
to say
truth.
It was.
Yeah.
Oh, they called this a conspiracy theory
Right.
too.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
But
They
it's not.
debunked it.
It's not.
Yep.
But if you go in and you look at that, and you look at the countries and where he was getting paid from,
China, Ukraine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
I'm just saying, if you start to do a deep dive and you just, like I did this with the next article we're talking about, you can find a lot of things.
Absolutely.
Because it's all connected.
I just question the war, right? I just question the war. You know, most experts said that Russia would roll over the Ukraine in 36 hours, 72 hours.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's right.
That it
the
would
thing
be
is,
quickly over.
They might have.
Yeah. I don't know.
Right. And
Well,
the
Ukraine's
rest is
just
just
using it to give money from the United States
A
to.
puppet war at this point.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't know.
I'm just speculating.
I don't know what
it's
to think
just-
about that war.
It's just,
I don't either.
I'm
yeah,
not saying
you
I know.
can't, unless you go there
I just
and
don't
put
buy
your
it all.
eyes on it.
I don't buy it all.
One thing.
I do not.
There was, I don't know if we said this yet, but when President Biden went to Ukraine, he went and visited Ukraine, but he hasn't gone and visited East Palestine, Ohio, which we're getting to. But he went to visit Ukraine, and there was a CNN reporter who has been there for like a month reporting on things that are happening in the war.
Right.
And when Biden showed up to do his press conference, the sirens started going off, the war sirens, like go hide and shelter.
Right.
And the CNN guy says, I've been here for a month and I've not once heard the sirens going off, but Biden's here for 5 hours and they turn them on.
Right.
Wait,
then
but
no one else reacted.
No one else reacted.
This is in Kiev, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you're telling me the sirens haven't even gone off in a month.
Right.
Okay.
In Kiev.
All right.
Right.
All right.
If I may,
Anyways.
really fast.
Yes. Jeremiah, please.
Hi. All throughout
Jerry.
history, in wars, both sides have had their own propaganda machines.
Absolutely.
And, you know, I've personally seen videos of, you know, people dying and buildings falling down, and it's horrible. The only thing we're questioning is what the news is pushing out about
Exactly.
and the propaganda that may be coming out of the Ukrainian government and U.S. News in Ukraine. That's all.
Jerry with the hard hitting.
But they make, you know, I'm saying they make it sound like a World War II style
right.
slugfest.
Yep.
Right.
Like in 67 in Israel with Egypt, 71. No.
In the
okay,
first-
can I just say this?
Yeah.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Oh, for
I
sure.
do not believe that.
Yeah.
I do not believe that. It is not at the level of all-out war. So then you wonder, are they trying to win? Okay, fine. Ukraine is defending itself, right?
Sure.
And they're limited, probably manpower.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
I'm just saying it's not all out war, right? It's not the kind of slugfest. I don't believe. I don't know. You know, I'm not saying it's not a war. I'm just saying there's something really, really sketchy
something
about the whole Ukraine thing.
Something smells for sure.
But like Jeremiah said, it's what the news is pushing out. And I just listened to Jack Hibb and Charlie Kirk, and they were saying the news is in control. Like the reporters are in control. Right. You haven't heard things about certain places because they don't want you to know about it. Right. They only push what they want you to know. Yeah. And then they conceal everything else, like Hunter Biden, the Wuhan lab leak. Like I lost a friend over arguing that in 2020, saying where I thought on that.
And I'm sure they came back and apologized for all of that.
Yeah, now I'm like, you see this?
I'm trying to think of the friend.
I only have 3, so it's not hard. It wasn't you.
No. Well, I mean,
or you.
in the first month of the war, the news was already like pushing video game footage as what was going on in the Ukraine.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw that. We were reporting on that last year.
Yeah, we were.
That there was already a push to find something sensational there. But again, that they are able to sell whichever news they want to make you see.
They do.
And it makes you feel like you're in the book 1984 all over again.
Well, it just, we have a right to ask these questions.
Absolutely.
Because they're taking the money that we give the government.
Absolutely.
And they're sending it over there.
That's our money.
Right? Yeah, it is. So
you want me to go with the last one?
Yes.
Okay. So obviously the East Palestine, Ohio situation is very sad, and there's been 45,000 animals and sea life and that have been killed. But this, do you remember, I think we talked about this 2 or 3 weeks ago, but everybody was saying that it's safe to be there, it's safe to breathe in the air, it's safe to drink the water, it's safe to do all these things. The governor said it was safe, right? Well, obviously it's not. It wasn't safe. They're finding out that it's like toxic chemicals.
Right.
And they're sending I was reading this morning, the firefighters, when they spray the water, they like collect the extra water, I guess, that runs off, and they were sending it to these other places like Texas, Oklahoma, and somewhere else. I can't remember. And they were getting ticked because they're saying, you guys said this was safe, and now we're finding out a month later that there's toxic chemicals in this.
Right.
So on top of the East Palestine, Ohio situation, there's been other trains that have been operated by the Norfolk Southern that have derailed. And I was just like, I saw Norfolk Southern a few times.
Listen carefully to this.
So I thought
Listen
I would
carefully.
Look into it, right? Like I'm saying, you just do a deep dive and you take one name. So guess who owns Norfolk Southern? Vanguard
And BlackRock, probably.
Yes. So along with BlackRock and State Street, Vanguard is also considered to be one of the big 3 index fund managers that dominate corporate America. John, I think, can you just tell everybody a little bit?
Tell us about BlackRock in 30 seconds, John. What do they do? What's the worst
BlackRock and Vanguard are over virtually every major corporation in the entire news media, corporations, anything that has a big push and a big presence in commercial endeavors, media companies, CNN, NBC, Fox News, ABC, CBS, CB, whoever, Vanguard and BlackRock have very similar holdings and are at the top of their boards, meaning that they are directing as much as they want because they are the major holdings of each of those.
And can we just say they're evil?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
They're evil.
They're dark.
These are evil corporations.
Absolutely.
All right. Can you just trust us on this?
Yeah.
But
all right. And okay, so these are the owners.
Yes.
Of these train companies.
Yes.
All right. So,
and it just came out today because I just want everyone to know that the labor union is now saying that East Palestine, Ohio, the cleanup crew, the workers are starting to fall ill. So like they were just trying to say it was safe. And everyone's like, how is it safe that a chemical fire went up or the trains derailed and caused chemical spills? But that wasn't the only train derailment.
Nope.
And if this rewinds us back to 2021 and 2021, where 100 food plants went up.
Yep.
So now you have trains going up. This week you have factories going up. So you had
What kind of factories?
some metalwork factories, shipping factories, renewable energy plants, warehouse storages,
All burning.
chemical fires, uranium plants, metal alloy plants.
All in 1 week.
All in 1 week. And
Are you
then-
hearing this?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you had 3 oil refineries from the same company that went up in flames in Mexico.
Right.
Same company.
Same company on the same day.
And no one's asking
there's-
questions?
And then there were fire breakouts in Russia at oil refineries, in Argentina, in Brazil.
Yeah.
It's a big squeeze. If you saw this happening in any other market, you would say this is collusion. This is a squeeze, either for money or to reduce production or the livelihood of a group of people. You would call this you'd call this collusion. You would call this something that's manufactured.
And it's connected with the rolling blackouts.
Don't you feel like
it's all connected when the rolling blackouts hit?
Yep.
Right. Eventually, because we had chickens and turkeys and beef, and we've seen so much stuff just burn. Right.
And the way the EPA or whoever handled the catastrophe, the cleanup, started burning vinyl chloride, which is one of those things that if there's even 5 parts per billion in the air that you're breathing, can cause death.
It's crazy.
That will start to deteriorate a brain. So the fact that they decided to burn vinyl chloride instead of another method, and it then went into the air, and it then went into the weather system. So
right.
Read all the
I was reading there's
issues.
acidic rain happening.
Yes.
Hold on. Read all the things that burned again this week.
Yeah.
Oh, the metalworks factory, shipping facility, renewable energy plant. I think there was 2 in Florida. A warehouse storage center, chemical fire, lumber storage facility, uranium plant, metal alloy plant, and 3 oil refineries. Uranium plant. That was in Tennessee.
But can I say it's a conspiracy
It's a conspiracy
theory?
Right.
Okay, it's a conspiracy theory that all these burned at the same time. They want us to believe it's coincidental. And there's a bunch of arsonists out there.
Right.
Burning these things that we have to have.
Of course.
Right.
These things that have major security.
Uranium in Tennessee, a uranium plant, right? So,
Isn't that where like the atomic bombs were like built in World War II?
Yep.
Yeah, I read a book about that.
So
the atomic bomb girls.
we talked about it last week, but the East Palestine area, the water table is connected to the Ohio River, which is the drinking water for 5 million people plus, and the whole Ohio River makes its way down to the Mississippi.
But you know what is interesting?
Or is it the Mississippi where it comes out?
I don't know.
I don't remember. But
I didn't pay attention in that class, geography.
Geography's
But
good for
listen, I was reading that in 5 miles within the radius around East Palestine, Ohio, they were taking bottled water off the shelves after that, but they were telling people they were fine. Go ahead and drink the city water. Nothing's going to happen to you. But don't you feel like that really quick, and then we can move on, that this is a stepping stone to what I was talking to you about earlier? Because Cleveland, Ohio is becoming the first 15-minute city in the United States.
wait, 15. We're going to have to bring that up next week.
The 15. I
because
really fast.
we're going to have to expound, and I'm just telling you, 15
I'd like
minutes.
to talk about it more.
There's too much to say about it.
Stepping stone.
Too much to say about a 15-minute city right now.
Cleveland rocks.
Yeah, well, you don't want to be a 15-minute city, all right? That just makes me mad. No, they're not. They're not telling everyone where they have to work. Everyone in Cleveland, Ohio, isn't being told that they have to work here.
They're
and that's what you're going to do.
implementing the steps.
And this is when you're going to leave your house. No, that's not what's going on yet.
They're
trying to set it up.
They already said they'd be the first 15-minute city, so they're putting things
we'll talk
in
about
place
it next
for that.
week. We'll talk about it next week.
I'm upset about it right now.
And so,
same.
Listen, as we switch gears here, that's why I don't like to do the news. But you know what? No one puts this together, right? They see all this stuff burning.
Right.
They see all these plants and factories and food and, things going up in flame, and everybody just sits around. I mean, do you really, can I just say it? Do you really trust this government? I mean, honestly.
Not for a minute.
Okay. I mean, sorry, but like, wow, anyways, I guess.
Well, it goes back to the El Salvador president where he says, then United
Good job,
States,
United States.
is literally ruining itself from the inside. This is an inside job at what they're doing.
Yeah, it is. And
it's held true for over a year. His tweet.
Yeah. And we're just all going to work and nobody cares, right? Well, you'll care. You'll care when we don't have power, right? That's when people will start getting real concerned. But
I think people are concerned already,
but the church at Philadelphia, we're going back into Revelation here.
Yeah, not Philadelphia, PA.
No. We're in the book of Revelation for the kind of the biblical part of this. Jesus had a letter. He had warnings and some things to say to Philadelphia, and this is out of Revelation 2 and 3. And most commentators believe that these letters are written to the end time church. Philadelphia was a city that was located in one of the greatest trade routes in the world. It linked Europe and Asia, and all commerce going east had to pass through Philadelphia, right? Rome wanted it was under Roman rule, and Rome wanted the Philadelphian people to take their culture of Roman civilization and farther into the east. All right, this is over in Western Turkey, right? And so Philadelphia, the church there had taken on a missions type role. All right, this particular church, which amidst all the bad things going on, right? You were gonna see. It's like there's a famous prophecy of two horses, a black horse and a white horse, neck and neck, good and bad. In the end, as we get to the end, it's like a race to the end, and you're gonna see bad rise, evil rise, but you're gonna see good rise.
Yeah,
because we discussed the church is going out on top. If you saw in the opening, and we'll get to that, but. Revelation 3:7, to the angel of the church of Philadelphia. The angel, most commentators believe, is the pastor, right? These things saith he that is holy, he that is true, he that hath the key of David, he that openeth, and no man shutteth, and shutteth, no man openeth. You see, Jesus is titling himself as he that is holy, he that is true, he has the key of David, he that openeth, and no man shutteth, no man openeth. So Jesus, that's Jesus here, right? Saying, I'm giving you a message, church. A key in the scriptures is used as a symbol of authority. Jesus said he had the key of David. And I don't think we have time, but if you look at the phrase, the key of David, it's taken from Isaiah 22, verses 22 and 23. Isaiah chapter 22 and 23. And it grants passage for Jesus into the king's chamber. Now, in Isaiah 22:23, it's talking about Jesus' role being in an eternal context. He's like a nail being fastened into place where he cannot be moved, right? So you guys following me?
Yeah.
And so really, I took the opportunity in the message to Philadelphia. It's always something you can hone in on. He's talking about doors, right? Revelation 3:8, I know thy works, behold, I have set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it. For thou hast a little strength, and hast kept my word, and hast not denied my name. And so he's telling this church that he has opened a door for them that no one can shut.
So didn't he say he was watching them? So because they were faithful and they were obeying him, he watched them, so he opened doors for them?
Well, we can go back into those scriptures. To the angel of the church of I've got verses 3, I've got 7, 8, 9. I don't see that where it says he's watching them.
Oh, okay, I read that. Maybe it was an earlier verse. He said, I see your deeds.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, listen. And the Greek behind that phrase, I know that, is he's inspecting these churches. It's like an inspection. It's like a Kenneth Hagin once had a it was either Kenneth Hagin. They had a vision of him walking in church during church up to each member as they were sitting.
Yes. Yeah.
And looking at them very carefully, and then walking to the next one. He knows everything about these churches. Okay. All right. I see your works. Is what that is. Doesn't he say that?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. And so
then he's looking at each individual believer and saying, like,
yeah,
I see you, I notice you.
And he in a sense, it's a report card, right? And you can measure your own church. You know, you can find your own church in these letters.
Yeah.
If you look, and he's telling this church, he's opened a door for them that can't be shut. But in the same breath, he compliments them for their strength because they've kept his word. They didn't deny his name, which means they had the chance. All right. They had the chance. And he's saying, I'm giving you passage into another level, a new place. Right?
But isn't that interesting, though, that they were in a metropolitan area where there was a lot of people coming in and then going out to other places?
Yeah.
Okay, anyways.
Okay.
So you're saying...
I think you're making a deep connection. I
am, because you're saying in the spirit, you said, I'm making new passages for you.
Yeah.
Right? But they are a place where people are going to new passages from.
Yes.
So it's like spiritual and actual.
Yes, I knew that we asked you to come onto the podcast.
Absolutely.
For a reason. Yes.
Yes, that's good.
Lonaiah
That's
always
why I'm
comes in
here.
with things I wouldn't have thought of. Seriously, First Corinthians 16:9 says, I have a wide door of opportunity. Okay? Okay, there's doors all over the Bible sometime. Taking a passage out of Rick Renner's study guides, he has study guides on every single one of the 7 letters to the 7 churches in Revelation, and he's an incredible Greek scholar.
He was just here at Living Word.
Yes, he was.
It was so good.
If you're looking...
I was out of town that
It
weekend.
was amazing.
If you're looking for translations into the Greek language, this is who you want to use. Rick Renner, he says that these types of doors were usually locked with a heavy bolt that slid through rings attached to the door and the frame. What's really interesting, the Greek language is so much deeper than the English, but these doors usually provided access that was normally restricted.
Yeah.
Okay? Again, 2 Corinthians 2:12 talks about a door of opportunity. You know, can you think about doors of opportunities that you've missed?
Yeah.
Can you?
Yeah,
Anything offhand?
I'm not going to say it. Just saying.
Oh, okay. Wonder what that was. Can you think of any doors of opportunities that you've missed?
Yeah.
Do you want to share those with us, John?
Can you share one in 30 seconds?
No.
Have you, Jim?
45?
I mean, I feel like this is a counseling session right now.
I know. I mean, I'd never.
How about one
that
that you saw and took?
Like the line to Starbucks was clear, so I drove through it. I don't know.
It's a little
Just
bit
kidding.
deeper than
I
that.
know.
Okay.
Just kidding.
So, listen, when I was coaching, I'd been coaching maybe a decade.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think I had a below 500 record overall. As a matter of fact, I remember I was 108 and 78 when this guy came in, or excuse me, 78. Oh, I was 92 and 108, right? And this is when I had a bunch of short girls, and we were just battling it out, right? But you know what?
Meadow Creek.
This guy comes in. He was formerly the head coach of Patrick Henry.
Yeah.
He had been the head coach at Irondale, Winstead Holy Trinity. He was an old school coach. I interview him for the boys' job, and I'm coaching the girls, and I hired him for myself.
Yeah.
Right.
To learn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I realized just sitting in there, just trying to find out what he knows.
Yeah.
That he knew a lot more than me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And it changed everything.
Yep.
It changed everything. Within 3 years, within 6 years, I was winning state tournaments.
Wow.
Running the stuff he taught me. Okay.
Yeah.
And he was also in the state tournament. Went to the state tournament with the school here multiple times. Just championship. Went to the state championship.
Right.
And that was Jeff Wall, by the way, Hall of Fame coach. That was a door of opportunity for me.
Yep.
And you know what? I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it. I wasn't even that. I really wasn't in the Word much.
Yeah.
I was working 70 hours a week. I was saved, right?
Yeah.
I was an athletic director. But I knew. It was like a light bulb. Hire this guy, and you will win across the board.
Yep.
Within a few years. And it was the truth.
That's cool.
It was the truth.
But don't you love
That's a
Okay.
door of opportunity.
That is a door
that
of
I did
opportunity.
not miss.
But I love that you're explaining how Rick Brenner describes the door and all the bolts and all the nuances to keep it shut. And then the Lord's like, yeah, it's open for you.
Here you go, Jim.
Here you go. Here's the key.
Yeah.
Because we think it's all these like little things that get us, and it's not. It's just the Lord.
It's
so much easier than we make it to be.
Understand
Often.
sometimes meeting someone in a coffee shop that you've never met, pay attention to what is
Yeah.
your spirit saying. It could be a door of opportunity. Seriously, God does it a lot through people. This is common, and I really believe we need to pray for wisdom to recognize the doors
Yeah.
that get open in our lives. And I think sometimes he might open 3 trying to get you to walk through a certain door. There can be doors that Jesus, the Holy Spirit, are trying to point you through, and doors to get you out of things.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
That's true.
Absolutely.
One time, I was in my 20s. I got. Okay, this is not last year. This is not.
You said 20s. That was not last year.
You're no longer 30.
I was in trouble with the law. We'll just say major trouble. All right.
Yeah.
And this guy took me under his wing. Right. And what he did is says, I'm going to help you get out of this because I had a court date waiting.
Mm-hmm.
He says, but you have to do everything I say. All right. This was Chris Callison.
Oh, I love Chris.
Chris said, you have to spend 8 hours a day with this guy named Vern Norton.
Oh, Vern.
Okay, this guy had been through it himself.
yes.
He had hands like this. One time I was watching him hit a punching bag, and that guy, that's the kind of guy that if he hit you one time, it would break your
over.
jaw. It would break your face. It was scary watching him hit the punching bag. Like he could never hit me. Like, you know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking. If he ever hit me, it'd be over.
It'd be done.
And this guy,
He'd get a knockout, KO.
but he was an extremely spiritual man. Extremely, just a tough guy that had been through a hard life, that got his life right. And so he took 8 hours a day. And so in court, in the end, these 2 guys come to court and say, he's been under our tutelage for 6 months.
Yep.
He will continue for another 6 months, right? And the judge, the judge shakes his head, right, and says, I don't even know why I'm doing this, right? I was looking at jail time.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I'm sorry, but I was. And so he says 60 days house arrest, which was a miracle. And here's the thing. That's a door.
Right.
And I walked through it.
Yeah, how many times
those
have you
guys
heard-
were a door
Yes.
Yeah.
to get me out.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, I could have done 6 months in jail,
Right.
you know? So I didn't murder anyone.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything like that. It was partying. I was drinking. It was DWIs, right? Multiple. I'm one of those guys, right? It was on my license for like 25 years, right?
Yeah.
It never leaves your license. It just so anyways, so that was a door for me, right? Are we getting too deep here?
No, it's good.
It's really good.
A person, 2 people were a door, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it changed my life, right? And in that case, what did it do? It was the Lord opening a door.
Yeah.
Because his mercy is what kept me from going to the county jail
Absolutely.
for 6 months, right? So, and
That's awesome.
And this isn't like new information,
No.
right? Most people have heard this, right?
Right.
But Acts 5:19, but the angel of the door by night opened the prison doors.
Is that like the Paul and Silas account of the prison doors
You have
being
an
open?
angel open a prison door. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. No.
Oh, okay.
That's early in Acts, though.
Okay.
That's right after they got together as their company. Right?
That is, yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
It
Well,
is.
Acts 12:10. They came unto the iron gate that leadeth into the city, that openeth to them of his own accord. All right, they came to the iron gate that leadeth into the city. And the iron gate just opens.
Think how heavy
That's
an
an
iron
angel.
gate is. Yes.
That's an angel leading Peter.
So God will lift the heavy burdens and open the doors that are supposed to be opened. And sometimes you try and force the doors
Right,
open and you're
right.
like, you're kind of mad and frustrated. And then you're like,
Yeah.
a few years later or
Yeah.
maybe the next week, you're like, oh, I understand now.
Sometimes years.
God, you're so much better than.
Acts 16:26, there was a great earthquake. Foundations of the prison were shaken. Immediately, all the prison doors open.
Right. Yeah.
Doors all over the Bible. And what this letter...
Really quick about that, didn't the guard end up getting saved after
Yes.
that? Yeah, okay. Can you imagine you're down there and an earthquake
Well,
happens?
because
And
they came back. They said, "Hey, we didn't leave." Or-
yeah, they didn't. They didn't leave. They were just like, the doors
Yeah,
open. Did you
they-
know that?
Yeah.
In Peter's case, though, one time an angel like woke Peter up and said, "Come on." I was just
Just
listening.
walked through.
I was just listening to
Yeah.
this in Acts.
Yeah.
Herod had put
Put a hit out.
Herod had put 6 squads of soldiers on Peter.
Oh.
And so the angel walks Peter out of there, and Herod executed the soldiers. I couldn't believe that was an Acts.
Yeah.
I just heard that last night.
Yeah.
Peter, the one who cut the ear off?
Yep.
That guy?
That guy.
Yes.
So he's a little violent.
Hot-tempered.
Maybe
Peter?
that's why he had 6 guards on him,
Hot-tempered
because
Peter.
they think, hot-tempered Peter.
But they walked him right out of there. That was the iron gate.
Yeah.
A
with
door. That is a door.
Yes, and what this letter caused me to do in my own life is really just look back at how many doors I've tried to force my way into.
Yes.
Force, because I wanted it, or for my children.
Yeah.
How many doors have I tried to force
That is
open
true.
in the athletic world for my
I know.
children?
I go through some things with my kids.
Seeing that in hindsight, almost trying to make God open them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even looking at doors that maybe I've walked by.
Yep.
But I haven't walked through and it was open, or I walked through a door and then walk back out.
Right.
Yeah.
I've literally, it caused me to remember sometimes in the spirit realm, when you're positioned to walk through a door that is open. Okay, let me tell you something. Many times there will be opposition from the devil.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not going to make it easy for you.
Yeah.
Just because you have opposition, all right, does not mean that is not the way that you should go.
Yeah.
A lot of times people think opposite of that. Well, that can't be God.
Right.
You see that opposition?
Guess it wasn't the will of the Lord.
It wasn't the will of the Lord. No, that's not. It's not like that all the time.
Yeah.
And I know I'm making it more difficult, but sometimes you got to look at that opportunity like,
Yep.
is that the devil trying to keep me from getting that?
Right.
Because he knows what happens if I get it,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, I get it. I understand.
I can see in Revelation 3:9, Philadelphia had opposition, right?
I did.
Behold, I will make them a synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. What a deep statement. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before your feet, and to know that I have loved thee. Okay, so look at this. The Jews were persecuting the church. Okay, bad.
Yeah.
I mean, bad. They were riling up
Yep.
the pagans against them. The Jews and this is deep. This is some heavy words, which say they are Jews, and Jesus is saying they're not Jews, right?
Right.
Okay, this scripture reminds me of, because when he says, and I will make them come and worship before your feet to know that I have loved thee. I do this scripture every day.
So they're going to be victorious over their enemies is what he's saying. Like they're going to.
He's saying those enemies are going to come
That's what
bow
I'm saying.
down
So
before
they're-
you.
So like you do have opposition, but you're eventually going to be victorious. So hold on, little guy.
Lil,
Little
hold on,
guy.
little fella.
Anyways. Thanks, Lonaiah. Psalm 87.
I think you thought I didn't get it.
Okay.
That's
Psalm,
the look I was getting.
Psalm 86:17. You can pray this way. These are promises. Listen to this.
Yeah.
86. Show me a sign of your goodwill and favor, that those that hate me may see it and be put to shame. Wow. Because you, Lord, will show your approval of me when you help and comfort me. You can,
That's good.
That's a promise.
Yeah.
That's David. Show me a sign of your goodness and favor, so that those that hate me will see it and be put to shame.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's good.
It's
Psalm
like
86,
I pray it every day.
17.
it's so cool. Good. The great thing is
You can pray that.
It's not even on your own. It's like God doing something for you so that no one could go, yeah, he's nothing. It's like, no, God is with him.
When you give the glory to God when that happens, you know that when it happened. But let me tell you another one.
Yep.
There's another one where he says, this is a promise that you can, it's in first, I believe, 2 Chronicles with Jehoshaphat. And it said, the fear of the Lord fell upon all the kingdoms and lands round about Jehoshaphat. Therefore, they made no war on Jehoshaphat. And I just took that scripture and I said, fear of the Lord.
Oh, you mean 2 Chronicles 20:15?
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
The fear of the Lord fall every day with communion. The fear of the Lord, because I have Jesus, falls upon all the kingdoms and lands around about Jim Hammond and everybody I've mentioned today. So they make no war against me today. That's a promise.
That's awesome.
That's a promise that you can obtain. This could be your door. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. And so,
but it might
just,
be.
But
it might
everybody
be.
has their. You should have staple scriptures.
Right. I was talking with someone
every day.
I was talking with someone yesterday. You know, if you are familiar with the Word of God, but you don't understand His love for you, then you're not going to understand these promises.
No, you're not.
And if He
wouldn't do that for me.
You have to understand the fact that He has given you everything through Jesus because He loves you. And that love, number one, it says in 1 John 4, if you are fearing punishment, you don't understand the love of God.
Yeah, if you have fear at all.
If you have fear, so number one, start to understand God's love. And when you understand that, all of these promises make sense and you believe what the Bible says about you.
Perfect love cast out fear.
Yeah. Same. It's also in First John 4.
Look. So when you have fear, that's the amount, just that little amount, and no condemnation.
Yeah.
That you don't have a revelation of God's love, because perfect love casts out fear.
That's right.
And so, but
those promises are for you.
Yeah.
And you can believe those and receive them, and you'll go, oh, God will open that door for me. That is for me because He loves me.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe this is just for 4 of our 2,000 weekly listeners and viewers on. That's everything added up. Rumble, YouTube. 4 people, right? But I'm telling you, if you took 10 scriptures and you picked them out, these are promises that I want.
Yeah.
And you just did each one.
Yeah.
Once a day. Okay. Eventually, it's going to take effect.
Yep.
Everyone thinks it's like working out.
Right.
Like I had to recently get back into it. Right. You know how I got back into it? 13 minutes a day.
Yeah.
I'm going hard 13 minutes a day. I can make myself go hard 13 minutes a day.
Right.
Well, 13 minutes a day, I can do 13 minutes.
Right.
Right?
Right.
You know what I mean? And then boom, 13.
It builds.
What happens? Well, after a while, you want to do 16.
Yeah.
3 more minutes.
Yeah. No, I could do 16.
I'm kidding.
I'm just saying.
Yes.
Within a month, you're back at that 45-minute hour spot. I'm just telling you, if you lose the motivation, drop it down. Just do 8 minutes, right? And it's the same. The word will take. Just because it's a little bit of word doesn't mean it doesn't work. Okay.
That's true.
Yes.
And so the common view, most commentators, preachers, scholars, prophecy experts that I look at, I just have to give credit where credit is due, because I ask this a lot, right? Jimmy Swaggart has written a Bible commentary on every book on the Bible. Okay. That's a scholar.
Wow, that's a lot.
That is a lot.
Right. And people don't know this, and knows a lot about the end times, even though I don't agree with everything he says,
Sure.
Right.
He thinks Ezekiel 38 is Armageddon, but otherwise I pretty much agree with him. Right? Other experts in the end times, Jack Van Impe, Hal Lindsey, John Hagee, Grant R. Jeffrey, Amir Safadeh wrote a great book on Revelation. Chuck Missler, along with, of course, Rick Renner, Billy Brim.
Yeah.
I really do look at what every single one of these guys say before we teach on a verse. Okay?
Yeah.
And they don't always agree, but what I've done with the book of Daniel, Revelation, I try to give all the differing opinions and perspectives and let you decide, right? But as I was saying, most of these commentators believe verse 9 could be talking about legalism, all right? I have to correct, we talk about the Jews. The Jews, they're not even Jews. I'm going to make them come worship at your feet. That scripture that we read. And I have to correct myself. Most commentators, many commentators believe this is an allusion to legalists.
Interesting.
Most of them, okay? And so trying to pull us out of the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Right.
Okay? Put us back under the law.
Yep.
And really, we all know what legalism is because that's what the book of Galatians is about.
Yeah.
There's another point of view here. He's talking about people who claim to be Jews and are not. He's talking about someone called a Reconstructionist.
Sure.
Okay? Most denominational churches believe this. It's a growing false doctrine into many non-denominational churches.
That the church now, it replaces the Jewish people.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
They teach a view of the Bible that Israel is rejected Jesus. Because they rejected Jesus. The promises that Israel was supposed to receive or inherit now fall upon the church, and Israel has been canceled. Okay.
Wow.
They've been replaced.
Yeah.
That the church has replaced Israel. It's called replacement theology. That's what this could mean too.
Right.
But they believe Israel is no longer God's people. Okay. Replacement theology is taught in most seminaries and taught in most denominational churches.
I wouldn't want to be in that spot.
Like I said, and it's spreading. It's spreading. Replacement theology is what laid the foundation for the Holocaust. Right?
Yeah.
And in my opinion, it's a doctrine of devils, and it is completely wrong. Just a quick rundown on verse 10. Because thou kept my word, or Revelation 3, of the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world. To try them that dwell upon the earth. What hour of temptation is going to come upon the whole world? Do we know? He's talking about the hour of temptation. Many prophecy experts believe that the hour of temptation is the Great Tribulation.
Yeah. Can I say something?
Yes,
about
always.
Kept the word on. I was reading this.
You don't even have to raise your hand.
Oh, sometimes I do. But I was reading about the kept the word part, and then it reminded. So I'm this one commentary said the biggest threat to biblical soundness is in the church today. It's the removal of God's word from the pulpit. And I was listening to Charlie Kirk and Jack Hibbs thing last week, and Charlie Kirk said he was on the phone with the pastor who preaches every Sunday, who's like, I don't really know where I stand. I don't really know what I can say because I don't really know what is truth and what is not truth. And Charlie's like, I got really mad, and I was like, you have the Bible.
Right.
All you have to do is preach out of the Bible, and it explains everything and what we're going through and how we need to deal with things.
Yep.
And he's like, you're removing the Bible from the church. Right. That's why we are where we are.
Right.
That's good.
Oh, that's
was.
Many people think he says, I will keep thee from the hour of temptation, right? But, Jesus says in Matthew 26:41, watch and pray that you might not enter into temptation. Do you know you can pray not to enter temptation?
Yeah.
That's an instruction from Jesus, right?
Yeah.
You can pray not to enter temptation.
I read a thing about that too. And maybe I don't know, you can tell me if this is right. But if you pray to God and you tell him you're weak, right, and you need help, there's like pillars in heaven.
Yeah.
And he makes a pillar for you, and that's like a reminder that, hey, you need help with this, and like you're covered because of Jesus. But it's like a pillar in the temple of God. So it says when you pray and you say, I'm weak here, then there's a pillar for you there. And it's like,
because when we are weak, he is strong for us.
Right.
Yeah.
2 Corinthians 12.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's cool.
So
I like that.
Should I do the podcast in this voice?
No, it's horrible.
This is the podcast with Jim Hammond
and John Gabb.
I would not listen
and
to
Lonaiah
that.
Farrell.
I did not. I did
not sound like that.
No, you have a radio voice.
I have a radio voice.
Yes,
you do.
She does.
She does.
She does.
This is Lonaiah Farrell.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Listen.
Back to weather and traffic.
I did want to be a news anchor
Did you?
for. Yes, I did.
Along with a school teacher.
Yeah, but I wanted to be a news anchor first. But I hated talking in front of people, and I would have never ever picked this for my life. Going on camera every week, yet here I am.
We are over 1 year on the Final Hour podcast.
If you look at the first episodes, my face would be red.
That was one year.
You're right.
We didn't even have a party or anything. I mean, we went live. We went live, and then we went to the Nook, and that was
That
was a celebration.
That was a good day.
Try the Nook.
In St. Paul.
The Nook Cafe.
Yep.
Revelation 3:10, right? I feel like I got to read it again. Because I has kept the word of my patience. Because you have kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. That sounds like the Great Tribulation.
It does sound like the Great Tribulation.
The new King's, the NKJV, the new King James Version, it says, I will keep you from the hour of trial, which shall come upon the whole world to test those who dwell on the earth.
Well, there's something in the Greek language in the front of the word temptation. It's called a definite article. And in the Greek language, it means...
Definite articles. That takes me back to like 7th grade English.
This word means tribulation, right? And so what it's saying is Jesus is saying, I'm taking you out of the tribulation before it starts.
So doesn't that kind of...
will not experience the tribulation.
Debunk anybody who thinks we don't leave before
This is one of the small scriptures.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, this is something is not even used in the argument, right?
I'm so glad we don't have to be here for the tribulation.
This isn't one of the big guns that you even argue with.
Why
right?
wouldn't you look what he says? It's right there.
And just
I'll take you out before it comes.
Yeah. Just a quick note. Many people know the Great Tribulation is covered in Revelations 6 through 19. Right. In the book of Revelation, it covers all 7 years of the Great Tribulation in chapters 6 through 19, and not a word is mentioned about the church. Don't you think God would mention something about the church?
I think he would.
Of course he would. He mentions us everywhere else, so he's going to just skip that at that time?
With 13 straight chapters that cover the tribulation, the churches that mention once. Yeah. And they do say, "Oh, there's one time," and they're it's wrong. And when we get, we'll bring that up. Maybe I'll bring that back next week, where they try to tell us that the millennialists try to tell us, right?
Oh yes,
that the church is mentioned, right? Or not? Maybe not the people that think that we have to go through the tribulation, not the millennialists.
Oh yes,
those guys. Right, there's less and less of those guys. By the way,
you mean the post-trib rapture?
Yes. Post-tribbers. A lot of those guys think there's one place, but it's not. They're totally taking out of context.
But if you look at the people who think that, like,
one time it would be mentioned.
But I'm saying, like, you look at the facilities that, let's just, for instance, chickens and eggs are hard to come by, right? But there was famine. Like, look at Joseph. He dealt with famine.
Yeah.
Things like that are going to happen.
Yeah.
Because we have people controlling situations.
Right.
So I think people look at that and they think that this is part of the tribulation. Yeah. Anyways. But we know what the tribulation...
Yeah, there's people saying that we're in the tribulation. Yes, there's that group
We're not.
No, we're not.
Because we read about the tribulation. We get demon locusts and sores and you can't die.
Well, those are the people that think they're helicopters.
There's and then there's the mark of the beast. Like, the mark of the beast is the number one eye-opening experience of the tribulation.
Right.
That's how you're going to buy things.
But the church is not mentioned in Revelation 6 through 19 because we are not here.
Right.
I mean, and we're not here because we're in heaven, because we've been raptured. All right. So, and I know you've heard me say that before, and today was a little bit different.
I don't know.
I think the news kind of made me mad.
Yeah.
I wonder if we're going to have to edit some of that.
Nah.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay.
Go for it.
Anyways, but listen, I've enjoyed this with you guys, and I just thank you guys so much for tuning in, for listening, or viewing on YouTube. It is it's a privilege to be able to do this.
Definitely.
I'm blessed to be able to do this, and we actually have fun trying to put this thing together. So thank you, John.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Lonaiah.
My pleasure.
I learned that from
Chick-fil-A.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Jerry.
Jay do.
You don't have a sound effect for us, Jerry?
But
Jerry only knows one button.
He likes to clap for himself.
Jerry, do you have another sound?
he's Gen Z. He needs that
That's
affirmation.
true.
Jerry,
You are important. You matter.
you know what, Jerry? That's the only other sound I've ever. Don't
It's
we have
like
a third? Do we have a third
Leprechaun.
sound,
It's
Jerry?
March.
We do.
Okay.
That's hurtful, is what it is.
All right.
That's,
Well, we'll end it that. We'll end it with
Yes.
crickets.
Yeah.
The crickets.
We're not going out with a whimper.
No. Thank you for making us a part of your weekly routine.
God bless
we
you.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
We'll be back. We'll never quit. See you later.